A new report has linked the Calgary Flames to the Toronto Maple Leafs as ideal trade partners this offseason. And whether that includes Jacob Markstrom or other members of the Calgary Flames, we will discuss the reality and the likelihood of one of these trades happening in this video. Plus, we have a little bit of an update about the New Jersey Devils regarding the Jacob Markstrom trade rumor saga. We will get into all that and more, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames, and we would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Let's hop right into the Flames being linked to the Leafs. Now, we already kind of know that this team has been in all the trade talks revolving around Jacob Markstrom lately. And even throughout, even around the trade deadline, that was one of the teams that was somewhat in there. They were somewhat in there for, Chris Tanev as well. We've been talking about the Leafs a lot, and it's continuing here today, like I said, with a new report. And this one comes from a source I don't actually often use. But let's dive into TSN saying an off-season watch, a Maple Leafs Flames connection. Once again, it's a little bit of speculation, of course, but it does show that these teams, more so on the Toronto side, could want a deal to happen. The Flames, I'm sure, will be happy to make a deal with any team that can provide the right package for some of our good trade chips, some of the assets on the block. Now let's continue here into this article. Let's dive on in. Changes appear to be in store for the Maple Leafs blue line this summer with TJ Brodie, Mark Giordano, who are those guys? Never heard of them. Joel Edmondson and Ilya Lyubushkin all slated for unrestricted free agency. Their blue line's going to look a lot different. Morgan Riley, Jake McCabe, Simon Benoit, Connor Timmins, and rookie Cade Weber are under contract for next season. So there's at least 5 guys who will probably be up at the NHL level. We'll see about Weber. With Timothy Liljegren eligible for arbitration as an RFA. And he's kind of been involved in trade talks too. There was a video a few weeks ago on the channel that showed a trade package. It was kind of wild back in the day. It wasn't proposed by me, of course, but it involved, I believe that was a Mitch Marner deal to Calgary kind of thing. And I will say, once again, just while we're at it, I won't talk too much about what the Flames can acquire just since we have so much in the past, but just know that after the Leafs got eliminated in the first round, once again, something could happen to the Big Four. So whether that means the Flames could be interesting in acquiring Mitch Marner or William Nylander, we'll have to see. There's young guys like Nick Robertson that are available. And then, of course, some good prospects as well. Fraser Minton kind of being the number one guy being linked. We will have to see. Or, well, I don't know if he's the number one guy being linked, but there's someone who the Flames could be interested in. Holy, I'm struggling. My shift this morning started super early, and I think I forgot how to speak English over it. But anyway, let's continue on here with the article. Let me hop back in. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic believes Toronto Maple Leafs GM Brad Treliving should look at his former team's roster as he pursues upgrades on defense this offseason. So it involves defensemen from the Flames. Siegel believes that if the Calgary Flames are committed to a retool this summer with Jacob Markstrom potentially on the way out, then the Leafs should inquire on MacKenzie Weegar and Rasmus Andersson. So this isn't saying that the Leafs should be interested in Jacob Markstrom. They're kind of saying, look, if Jacob Markstrom does get traded, the Leafs should look into acquiring Weegar or Andersson, or maybe both, who knows. But let's dive into whether that's even possible or not, and kind of talk about these fellas. So MacKenzie Weegar, of course, let's just say he's kind of almost untouchable at this point with where the Flames are. He's a player who wants to be here. He provides so much value both offensively and defensively. The fact that he had a positive plus-minus this season on the Flames shows wonders, because when he first came here, he was pinching a lot and seemed to be the cause of a lot of goals going the other way. I know my father would agree with that one, but either way, this season totally stepped up, was amazing. As we know, the 20 goals and 200 block shots, first player to do that, so incredible. 52 points on the year. He was just a menace when it came to being good offensively. The giveaways are quite high, which is, a little bit concerning, but in the 23 minutes of ice time per game, not bad at all. 30 years old. There is no chance we want to trade this guy away. Why would we want Weegar gone? And a lot of people will say, especially to Toronto, why we want to give him there. I just don't see Weegar even being on the trade block. I think almost every other Calgary Flame is kind of maybe touchable. In no way is it an absolute untouchable like a McDavid. But Weegar, Connor Zary, guys like that will be tough for Conroy to move, and I'm just saying he won't really want to at all. But let's get into the other guy here of Rasmus Andersson, and this one's a little bit more likely. Looking at his stats again, we wanted them to be better going into this season, and it was a bit of an up and down season for Andersson, maybe more on the downside, but still not the worst stats going back and looking at them once again. So still the 9 goals and 39 points total in just 78 games. Boy, if he hadn't, thrown the body around at the end of games, and maybe he's still lingering after some motorcycle issues, he could have played all 82. But either way, not his best season, but still not bad. And I could see it being, a reality that he would get traded this offseason, or at least in the near future. Toronto makes a lot of sense. They need a defenseman of his caliber, especially the way he shoots, and it could definitely happen. We've seen in the past the Flames, make trades with teams they're familiar with. And as we know, of course, if I can make sure I look right here, one guy that we know is over in Toronto now is, of course, Brad Treliving. It said it in the article. I might put him in the thumbnail of this video as well. I haven't decided yet. But either way, Conroy and Treliving, they know each other. Apologies again for mixing up my words. Holy, I need to go to some speech school. But Conroy, Treliving, they're familiar with each other. Treliving is familiar with the Calgary Flames, and we're familiar with his trading tactics. So who knows? He could acquire Andersson for a pretty big boatload in terms of a return for the Flames. He likes to trade away first-round picks. Honestly, at this point, I'd like more than just a first-round pick for Rasmus Andersson, but who knows? Who knows what could happen? Now, let's quickly just dive into a little update on the Devils, how the Devils are still the front runners, and front runners for who, you may ask? Well, did you really even have to ask? Of course, it is Jacob Markstrom. So here's a little tweet from today. David Pagnotta on Russick and Rose this morning said he still thinks there is a path for the Flames and Devils to get a Markstrom deal done. That isn't exactly, the biggest revelation of all time. We kind of know that the Devils are still very much pursuing him, after the NHL Combine, when all the GMs were talking. There's a strong chance that a trade could happen here, and it is at least good to hear an update since then that the Devils are still at least interested, and there's a path for them to make a trade like that. If we continue here, Pagnotta said he doesn't get the sense that Markstrom would waive to go to Ottawa. They want to be in a place where they can contend. They want to be in a place where they can even contend for the playoffs, I should say. And Markstrom, we'll have to see. It's late in his career. I'm sure he'd rather go somewhere where maybe they have a little bit more experience. At least the Devils have made the playoffs and won a playoff series in the recent future. I know it wasn't this past season, but Ottawa, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2017. Would Markstrom want to go there? It's very, very interesting. At least they do have some good young players that could entice him to want to go there. But I think I would rather go to New Jersey if I were trying to win a cup as well. Now let's wrap up this video with everyone's favorite part of the day, the comment of the day, of course. And this one, it just goes with everything we've really been talking about lately, and why not dive in here? So this one comes from user, it's a bunch of numbers, digits, whatever. Man, I should have taken a nap or something before this, or had an energy drink. But anyway, this user says, DeBrusk would be a good addition, especially if he could talk his dad into joining him on the Flames. That would be an awesome 1-2 father-son punch. Now, I read this as though they were joking because, Louis DeBrusk, if you look at his NHL stats, I personally was too young to get to watch him play, but I think he has about 400 games, and in those 400 games, about 25 goals. That is exactly what the Flames are trying to acquire right now. Bring in Jake, bring in Louis. We can be the new DeBrusk hub, because that's what every single Flames fan wants. And of course, I don't know, whether you want to acquire Jake DeBrusk or not, this was a funny comment to read. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm going to go learn how to talk.